In today's video, we're going to be using some of our squeeze tools to find some trades worth taking. There's one stock in particular that I found in which I think there's a really nice squeeze setup, which is offering you an entry before that squeeze actually fires. It's backtested well, and it's actually triggering a setup as of Friday's close. Now, first off, let's talk about the tools we'll be using. For all of our Volatility Box members, I'm using tools from our squeeze course. All of these tools, all 15 of the squeeze tools, are included for free with your membership. You can download all of them by clicking the big green button, or if you come down and you want just a backtester I'm going to be using, that's going to be in module 14, along with the squeeze signals scans. Now, there's a few different tools we build in this. You'll notice there's the slingshot squeeze, the squeeze signals. The squeeze signals is the squeeze that I say is the one that's forming right before the squeeze is about to fire. That's the way I would think about it, and if I was to load in our triple squeeze here, hopefully you can see that illustrated with the backtester loaded on. For example, take a look at this past trade setup inside of one of our candidates, and you'll notice that the squeeze signal gets you an entry before price is starting to actually make its way with momentum gathering before that squeeze ultimately fires. The place where I think the entry is worth taking. Now, let's start with our scan first. I ran our scan for the squeeze signals indicator. I ran it on the weekly and the daily timeframes. The weekly didn't really have anything worth talking about, but I thought the daily timeframes, with this is using Friday's daily close, had two stocks which stood out, one of which at least stood out. Now, the first stock is PPL, the second stock, DTE Energy. Let's start with PPL first. So if I load in a chart of PPL, and I have our squeeze signals backtester loaded on, this is the one from module 14 in the squeeze course for all Volatility Box members. So I've loaded in the backtester. Now what you'll notice is we have some stat labels up here, which makes it really easy to understand what is the performance. You'll also notice that we have this floating P&L histogram. If you don't see that on your end, click the study settings icon, click global strategy settings, and make sure this box right here is ticked, display floating P&L. Now what you've done is you've made it really easy to quickly cycle through and determine if you'd like to take this particular trade. Look at the labels, see if the labels are green. Look at the P&L histogram, see if the P&L histogram is green. So now if I zoom out, you'll notice here that histogram very clearly green inside of PPL. And let's dive a little bit deeper into our labels. We have 25 winners, 15 losers, average winner 3.57%, average loser negative 4.4%. The exit for all of our squeeze strategies is when that squeeze actually fires, and we're looking to exit whenever that happens. You can also test what happens if instead of just a no squeeze, we're actually losing momentum instead, and if that helps you ride out any more in terms of that win percentage. Here you'll see that we actually increased our loss. So instead, it's better to get out when the squeeze fires, not when it's losing momentum. Now this looks like a nice strategy, but what I think you'll find more interesting is our next symbol, which is DTE. Now running the same backtester in DTE over the course of our max available data, which goes all the way back to our first trade is 1987 is when we've started gathering these metrics. Inside of Thinkorswim, we have a grand total of 43 setups, 41 winners, 2 losers. So very clearly, this squeeze signal inside of DTE is a good predictor of when price, or rather the squeeze, is about to fire in a certain direction. Now, if we dive a little bit deeper, our stats tell us our average win percentage is 3.87. Our average loss is a little bit greater at negative 5.49%. The average trade duration, right around 10 trading days. Now, if we zoom in closer to what price is currently doing, you'll notice that the first time we had the squeeze signal to now we've had 3 different arrows, we've already exceeded that average trade duration. That tells me that the squeeze, if it is starting to get going, should be firing relatively soon, given that we are now going to be exceeding the average duration. So DTE looks really interesting here from both the backtest perspective. It backtests well. Look at the P&L histogram here, steadily rising because, of course, most of the trades end up being winners here whenever the squeeze tends to fire. And you also get an idea of the average gain you're looking for. about, let's call it anywhere above 3.5%, you should really be starting to look at taking some profits. If we take a look at what 3.5% extrapolated from wherever that first entry was, 3.5% gives us a target close to that 130.50 price point. And that tells you where you're looking for the squeeze here to at least start to exhaust for the first time. So very quickly here, with our squeeze signals backtester, we were able to find two different stocks in which, as of Friday's close, we have a squeeze setup that's worth playing, or at least setting up. We took each of these and we then determined if they were worth playing by plugging them in on our Thinkorswim charts and analyzing what the backtester results told us. We looked at the labels up here to understand what is the win-loss percent, along with what the average winner versus loser looks like and the trade duration, along with the histogram down here to understand if we have a positive or negative P&L. In today's case, or rather with Friday's case, both PPL and DTE both pass our backtest thresholds. It's just that DTE really looks so much better with that 41 winner versus 2 loser streak that it has going on, with a lot of data to support this overall backtest idea. If you wanted to analyze all of the trades in more detail, just right-click Show Report, and you get a nice running report, and you can very easily see when those 2 losers were, and dive a little bit deeper to see what was happening. For example, one was that December 2018 period. I hope for all of our Volatility Box members, you found today's video useful in understanding how to take the squeeze tools. Specifically in today's case, we took the squeeze signal scan along with the squeeze signal backtester from module 14, and we very quickly found 2 trades worth taking, one of which, if you had to choose one, stands out, which is DTE. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in our next update.